you can do it, and teacher to teacher or whatever offers job or what, like what you're saying. Okay, cool. Yes, I agree with that. I'm in the meeting. But now I'm like, but if I just choose to not be a construction worker or whatever y'all fighting for, because I get confused, and I was like, okay, well, I just want to be wife and mother. Why are you not supporting me in that?
Because you're a black,
Feminism, like,
it's a
right? We can
black
be
woman.
whatever we want, but if I choose to be like, well, I want upliftment, I like this side over here. I don't get no support doing that. I support y'all. I'd be like, well, they want to be that. Shout out to you because you do the job I don't want to do, and that's great. Lovely. You want to do that. That's awesome because we need the women to do the things that you just said and all the things, and you get paid, and all those things matter. Yes, but where's my support? And that's all I'm saying. So my question to you, which is the title. So your question is it true? It says women kill more babies. So I guess I have a question for a question. Sorry. Then who? Because I can't say is it true if we're not talking specifics. Because are we talking about women globally? Are we talking about Black American women? Women kill more babies than who? Before I can answer, is it true? I did not mean for that to rhyme. I just wanted to.
No, you're good. That's a good question. So the reason for the title of the space was to get people to think. I think that really what we're dealing with. Oh, there's an echo. Hold on. I think that what we're dealing with, because the way that I started the space is basically Dr. Short and I were talking about Bill Clinton, and then Christina, the woman who wrote the book that is called, I had it up, it's called Who Stole Feminism? That's what Dr. Short was talking about. And basically feminists and their supporters can take one little thing, and maybe it comes from some data. Maybe there is some data that supported that some women got their asses beat on Super Bowl Sunday, but it doesn't mean that women in general are getting their asses whooped on Super Bowl Sunday. So now, I guess I would like to flip it, because women kill babies a lot.
A lot.
Like, all the time.
The majority.
The stats are in the seconds. Like, every so many seconds, there's a baby that's been murdered by a woman. And we don't face the same scrutiny or consequences or anything. And I thought it's supposed to be equality across the board. A man can harm a child and have to be looking over his shoulder the entire time.
He can have sex with the...
He makes it out of jail, right? Because in certain crimes against humanity, men won't allow that man to exist anymore. But a woman can kill a whole baby, go to jail, and live out the rest of her life in jail.
Yeah, yes, she can. You know, it's interesting. A young woman at 16 who can pass herself off as of the age of sexual consent can go falsify an ID, say she's 20, go to a club, buy a drink for a man. The man can have sex with her under the guise he thought she was of age and be ruined for life, right? And face more scrutiny for having sex with someone who didn't have the right to be out there having sex. That would be treated more seriously than if a woman killed several children. So I'm trying to think, first and foremost, folks have sex at 15 and 16, and in fact, 8 and 9, frankly. Not that you want them to do it, but if a person is running out to the club to hide and to deceive someone at 16, and they get what they want, an older guy, he's treated like a monster, and he'll probably get killed. And yet a woman can kill a real baby, I mean, just an infant, and it's not taken as seriously. And I don't blame feminism in this instance. I blame asshole men, because the men who run society are stupid. They don't really do things in a balanced way. There should be adjustments made for the changes wherein women have gotten some power in some places. It's not perfect. I've been in places where women are harassed and mistreated and underpaid. It does too happen. It's a problem. It is wrong. However, I know what it's like to get underpaid and it be partially done to me by a black female. In fact, I've had it many times. HR, you name it. The reality that people are people, making everything around genitals and gender or sex, well, actually sex, because gender doesn't mean sex, is irrational. There are men that attack and hurt women. Oh, yes, there are. There are men that hate women, that are violent. There are men that hurt children. Yes, they are. But there are women that do it too. In fact, I want to segue real fast to the white woman in Michigan who bought the gun for her no good son that killed 4 young people. I mean, the nation's stunned. The woman's going to jail. Well, you put the gun in your violent son's hand. You covered up, you helped him kill the people. See, let me say something to you. When they don't deal with women when they commit serious crimes, and they don't deal with them like a man would be dealt with, it goes back to the old idea that women are children, women are incompetent, women are inept, and men have to do things to help women along. The laws still treat women as if they're inferior. And that allows women to get away with stuff that can kill a man. There's some woman that stabbed her boyfriend almost 200 times and thinks she's going to do and killed him. She's going to do like 120 hours of community service. Trust me, if a man got 120 hours of community service for stabbing a woman, they would be out screaming, which they should do. But when women commit serious instances of crime, if you're truly talking about equality and accountability, that women that kill children or kill a man or give guns to children, or my big one, since you're talking about schools, you have an epidemic of women teachers, primarily white women teachers, having sex, in particular with non-white boys, Black, Latino. I mean, they're getting their sex safari on. And they are very understanding of the women. Do you know if it was a black male teachers boinking white girls? Oh my God. I mean, black men wouldn't even be allowed to teach. There would be repercussions. Everyone would pay for it. There's collective punishment for men in society that men created to protect women, but there isn't collective protection for children, nor is there recognition that this isn't 1800, it's 2024. These women, some women have power. Some women will go to court with lawyers and everything up against a husband that's pro se or an ex and lie and get all kinds of child support and everything else the man's in his car. Maybe that may have not been the case. Probably wasn't years ago, but it sure is now, especially when it comes down to black men in these circumstances. And the very rich and powerful men, how did rich and powerful men not understand that you've got to make the laws fit? Okay. You have to make the laws fit the circumstance. And by the way, if feminists, who they don't, the feminists love the chaos. If you ever ask them these little divorce lawyers, my job is to break up that family. You go to Planned Parenthood. If you ever look at the annual reports for Planned Parenthood, in fact, I had a feminist friend. We're not friends anymore. If you're out there, fuck you. That felt good. I know you're watching. I remember confronting her. Why do you hate abortion? Because it's murder. I says, well, women want the abortions. I says, well, I says, you mean 100% of women that go to an abortion clinic or go to Planned Parenthood, all of them want to kill the baby? Not one of them has a concern about keeping it? That's right, all of them, every single one. I said, you know what? It's interesting. There's one thing I'm going to tell you, and you're a woman, and I know you're lying. I've never seen women have 100% consensus on anything. I'm certainly something like terminating a pregnancy. There had to be one woman in 100 that's wishy-washy about it or conflicted. I mean, 100%. If you ever look at the annual reports, less than 1% of the services that Planned Parenthood provides are adoption referrals, meaning it's almost exclusively kill the baby. And I says that's just impossible. I just don't believe if you perform like 350,000 abortions, that out of that 360 some odd thousand abortions that you provided, maybe only 7,000 may have considered adoption. You have to understand, if 36,000 would be 10%, right? I guess it was a little over 1%. I mean, they're not, it's impossible that women are marching lockstep around something as complex as terminating a pregnancy. Are you hearing me, Sister Eve? Maybe all the women, I mean, do women just all line up like that? And if so, show me where women have all this great consensus and they all just come together on something as controversial and complicated as having an abortion. Do you know the late?
Absolutely not, Dr. Short. I don't know that I've ever seen women all come together to agree on anything. As much as I know that there's women who will say what I just said. Maybe we can agree on that.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Do you know that woman said, "You're giving me right-wing propaganda," and I said to her, "I'm quoting the annual report of Planned Parenthood. Are they right-wing?" And of course, morbidly obese Black woman, opinionated. It had to be that I'm hurting women. That's the mindset, right? Even when I'm quoting their stuff, it's right wing. In other words, just kill the babies. By the way, she's never had children. There are a lot of these feminists, they've never had children or they've aborted, and they want all the other women to feel miserable like them.
That's an excellent point. I saw a protest, and then I'm gonna get to the hand. Thank you for your patient, Negro Black Knights. But I saw a, what did I just say? A protest, and it was a bunch of white women with their titties out, right? And it's strange to me because I feel like men would probably be excited to see something like that, right? But then you start looking at who all has their titties out, and then it's like, whoa, okay, I don't think you're getting any of the attention you wanted to get, and now you have to expose yourself like this to get some attention. But what are we doing here? It looked like a bunch of virgins. I'm not trying to be mean, and I'm not saying that your looks will keep you from having intimate relations with people.
But looks
look
can.
Like anybody who'd ever had
look.
Can
we be honest? A lot of miserable, ugly, morbidly obese women, they're jealous of the ones of you that can get a man, and the one of the things that they could do is undermine the women that can be happy. I mean, when you see these feminists, they look like they were in a sledgehammer fight and they didn't have a hammer, and they're the ones out here preaching all this stuff. And they're ugly, they're fat, nobody wants them. And instead of them fixing themselves up and being something that someone would want, the way that they rig the game is to have to psych the other women out of having a man. It's the same thing that the young women used to do in public schools that I went to when they would get pregnant and they didn't want to be scandalized for being the teenage pregnant mother, unprepared mother. They would act like they were having the time of their lives being pregnant to lure their female friends into getting pregnant so they wouldn't be miserable alone. Yes, you women do fuck over each other like this. When that woman has been through the trauma of killing a baby, she wants another woman to hurt like she does. And these women spread the pain the same way they may kill a baby or let a boyfriend rape the child of the man they no longer seeing. Women do this underhanded shit, and I call it like I see it. I had a family full of very devious women, like women that show their husbands how to screw the daughter. Yes, my aunt sit there, watch her husband screw the daughter, give him pointers, giving the daughter pointers, literally. Okay, and talk about how bad men are. You let your husband screw your children.
Right, and then
Oh
you kind
yes,
of
they
teach
do.
somebody.
It's a big problem in our community. Folk whore out their children. Mothers do it. In fact, tell the father. In fact, one of my friends down in Georgia. I don't know. I think they're not speaking to me because I voted for Trump. But her mother let the stepfather rape her. The fact the father tried to rape the her in front of her mother at the dinner table, and the mother wouldn't intervene because she, like a lot of these women, I'm having a good time with this guy. So you need to stop treating. He wouldn't bother you if you treated him to. I ladies, a lot of y'all are sick as hell, and it don't got nothing to do with no men. And a lot of this stuff goes on because with feminism, since men are just complete beast, monster, rapist, predator, the just we should all be killed, but our sperm saved to continue women, and just a few men to provide sperm like cows should exist. There are actually fictional books like this. Any man that would write such a book would be seen as a fag. I mean, just a despicable fag. No one would respect him. But if a woman does it, oh, that's so original. That's because they're treating women like children. And a lot of these women know that being treated as if they're not fully accountable adults gives them a whole lot of power and impunity. And that includes killing children, that includes child support fraud, lying in divorce court, letting kids get molested. There's a whole range of things that just aren't, they don't even really keep information on women and pedophilia. The concept of pedophilia is almost exclusively male because there's a sense that, women are okay. You don't really need to pay attention to them. You don't hear about women that are incarcerated. Think about it. Because the real problems are men that are in jail. And every now and then, there's such a sensational crime that a woman committed until, I mean, it has to really, now, oh, wow, what a monster. Instead of, if you do wrong, no matter who you are, you get punished for it. If you hurt a child, if you rape someone, uh, fine. I'll give you a simple example. A friend of mine was a victim of child support fraud by their first wife, who claimed that the children were in college when they all left home by the age of 16 and did not attend college. So he got defrauded of maybe out of 60,000 plus dollars. In fact, it almost cost him to be homeless paying this child support that was unfair. When he would try to have her come to court, she just wouldn't come. Had it been her talk about child support, he would have been shackled with the bench warrant and brought in. In fact, I'll give you an example. If you are on child support, at least here in the DC area, if you want to see your child support payments or records, you have to bring every single solitary document for the entire time that you've had child support payments before, and they have to vet it for you to be able to see your own records. Yet a mother can make a call over the phone and cut off child support payments of the father with a phone call. The I mean, are y'all understand? I was with my friend who had to go around and go to all the different offices to prove that he never missed a child support payment. And even when we went to the DC child support office, the guy went there, he was shaking his head. I can't believe that you never missed a payment. So even when you have a documentation, it's not, it can't be. Right. Then, after he did all that, once it was proven that she was doing child support fraud, the people basically asked him to just let it go. Now, had a woman been defrauded, they could have gone to the family law court. They would have got them little short haired lesbian lawyers, and they would have gotten some of the money back. Everybody, even his attorney, just let her go. I don't know if you understand that. Particularly if you're a black man in court, divorce, whatever, just whatever it is, you're going to lose. So these things are rigged. It encourages corrupt and awful behavior, and the women know about it. And I'll tell you something. It's again, it's men's fault. They're such suck up, punk, pussy whipped assholes that they think having any rules or accountability for women is going to shorten the amount of sex they can get. Therefore, they don't want to rock the sexual boat. And with all of that punkified pussy whip behavior, you're still getting sex dolls. You're still swinging both ways sexually. You're still going to the Dominican Republic and Thailand. So for all the stuff where you don't ask for women to be on their A game as men should be on their A game, you're no happier. So men are miserable with this dumb shit that they go along with because the men think it's cool. Like, let me tell you something. I'm gonna just talk about dumbass black men, stupid ass black American men. Will have a situation with a woman. She'll go down to court and get a lawyer, maybe even a Jewish lawyer. And the black dude, I don't know, he'll go down and represent himself pro se. And he's shocked when she does power and kicks his ass and gets everything. Bec- because you're still treating a woman like a child, like a baby. I mean, if you drag me into court, you're as much an enemy as any man. I had a friend whose wife tried to get him swatted and killed so she could get the house. She was Nigerian. She got tired of being married to dudes trying to prove he was gay or something. Well, that didn't work. So get some cops to kill him down in Florida. Say he's breaking into the house because you changed the locks when he came home, and get him killed, then she'd get the house. It's the same way if women falsely accuse a man of rape, whatever, that guy's ruined for life. I mean, you can't prove. Let me tell you what they say. You had to have done something for her to accuse you, which means any woman can accuse any man at any time. He can get denounced and he's ruined. He's just, I mean, if it comes out later, it's a people will remember it was said. It used to be that way for women if they had kids out of wedlock or whatever. Now it's switched. The men are in the position of having no rights, and the women have more than their share in a lot of circumstances. And no one talks about it. To me, it's not healthy. It's not healthy when women kill children that they get the custody of. They don't want the father to see, and then they kill the child, and basically there's no punishment. The it's crazy. There is no discussion of it. And again, as much as I hate feminism, and I HATE feminism, it is sorry, weak, ultra fagonist, weak, dumb, pussy whipped liar or closet gay men who are into this feminist chic because they like for the women to be weaponized against the men, because a whole lot of men who are LGBTQ, that are sodomites, they benefit if the women are constantly stirred up and made angry, where they demoralize a lot of men. They're getting some sex on the downstroke. That maybe they'll be able to do a blowjob on a person that they want because they're so miserable with the woman that's been like weaponized. So the gay men, bisexual men, and liar, pussy whipped, low life dog men love this. So, for all the lies that feminists say that men are all united against women, it's not true. Most men are united against men that say anything about women, period, until they get personally hurt. Then they do it. In reality, the man of today is the woman of the 19th century, where the women literally had no one to talk to when they had a problem, which is why the men commit more suicide and all this. Because, and by the way, the men, they don't cry, they don't do this, they don't do that. And so basically, a lot of the men are killing themselves, or they're drugging, or they're drinking, or they're fagging. And this is a population control agenda. The women that are manipulated by feminism, I don't think most women give a damn about feminism. I think women want money, shelter, food, love, and good sex with the love. I was talking to a friend of mine, and let me silence this person. Some person ain't calm down. I'll get a wife soon. Do I sound like I'm mad at women? I don't think so.
We talked about that earlier too. The haters. Dr. Short loves women, loves Black women, and I think that is hilarious when people try to do that. But that actually might be a good segue. We got some people with their hands up, and I don't want them to not comment on the baby killing aspect of Hooper Bowl Scum Day. The Negro, you had your hand up first, then we're gonna get to my sister Kush. Go ahead, Negro. Black Knights Heritage.
Hey, what's up, Dr. Short? What's up, Eve? Happy non-Super Bowl. I don't support that nonsense, you know. I haven't supported in a very long time, and if I need to get a fix, I'll just read the newspaper or something like that, and read the score and keep about my business. But I don't see that as a priority. What got me into this space was women killing more babies on Super Bowl Sunday. Kind of like caught my attention a little bit, you know. If you care about the overall collective community, you want to see what the fuss is about and see what's going on. So I was really curious, especially when I saw Dr. Short and you, and I saw the people that were in the space. I definitely wanted to hear what was going on. And I was just very curious. But one of the things that I put in the comment section was about this. I would never think Black women are really bad mothers compared to what I've been seeing around the world. And the craziest thing is some of these women around the world are very, very in prominent positions where they're very critical of Black women when they should be more supportive, especially when they're in CSP and stuff of that nature. One of the things that I have to describe that is a video about this lady from India or whatever sending her disabled child to almost child slavery or something of that sort to pick up money or whatever. And it was kind of crazy. Who would send their child to a distant land by themselves who's disabled? And where they could be harmed and abused. And
can I interrupt you?
Still, some of these people come to the United States and they get prominent roles and they abuse our community. So that was just another aspect of the flip side to the conversation a little bit.
Well, let me just say to you that
go ahead, Dr. Short.
That the Indian thing, first and foremost, I'm never one to say rah rah Black Americans have it together. At the same time, I wouldn't say that we're at the bottom of the barrel either. That's not where I am. But I want to say this because I have to deal with this India thing real fast. India leads the world in its slave population. They have millions and millions of child prostitutes, not hundreds of thousands, millions. And it's commonplace in India, depending on certain castes, for people to mutilate their children so they're more pathetic to get more beggar money. Okay. I have seen Black families, if you could call it that, groom kids to sell dope. The young girl that was with R. Kelly that he urinated on. We have stuff. We have some horrific people, but it isn't like a tradition. It may happen in a dysfunctional family or families, but it's not like what you might have in India or Africa. For all the Pan-Africanists who can all kiss my ass Pan-Africanists. You've got child slavery all over Africa. All over. Within the last 20, 30 years, they just outlawed slavery in Ghana. In everybody's lifetime on this call, slavery was legal in Ghana, Ivory Coast, Burkina Faso. In fact, there's slavery right now going on in northeastern Nigeria. If you happen to be a Christian Hausa, you're effectively a slave. People can take you, do whatever they want. Uh, this stuff happens. So, there's some blessings to America. I know, oh my God, the ungrateful Black Americans that just can't find one damn thing nice to say about this country. But our ancestors built a great country in spite of racism and injustice. There's some very decent things here that many times we don't take advantage of or don't organize. America is not a zero. It could be a hell of a lot better, but it could be a hell of a lot worse. And I can just go right to the females. If you've ever been to places in Africa where there are no bathrooms at the schools, so the girls don't go to school after they begin to have menstrual cycles because there's no place to wash. I have a very good friend from Liberia, and she was talking about she wanted to do something for young women in her country. And what can I do? I said, you need to make their asses some Kotex that are reusable. Hell, you got a pussy. You didn't think about that? You're from there. You never thought about the fact that girls have nothing to block that shit up. And she's been making recyclable Kotex as part of her NGO. She thanks me. I mean, with all due respect, sometimes uh, and I've worked with women's groups of all types, African. uh, the girls didn't even have Kotex. You can't afford them. If you're living on $1 a day, Kotex is a luxury. I mean, you could have a big box. You could even have your punk ass man get your feminine products free because you're ashamed. But at least you can get yourself some. Imagine being in a country where they're not even Kotex, not even body wash. I mean, imagine going to school and you're bleeding. Everybody's laughing like the movie Carrie, except they were at least they're in the shower. Um, it's not that bad here in a lot of ways. A lot of what's wrong with America is how we perceive and how we're dealing with it. I'm not saying that there is an institutional, structural, systemic racism, but there's some stuff like you can get your hands washed, you can get some douche to clean out clean under the hood. There are a lot of things. Africa, and I've been all over. I mean, they're just if you're on your period, hell, you're gonna drop out of school. Yeah, I never thought of that. Do you know in Africa, as much as people criticize the educational system here, and one of the reasons it sucks is because we're not serious about education. Black people are the only liars bigger than white people in America are black people lying to themselves. Okay. And we lied to ourselves. In Africa, and many other places, education is not free. And you need to pay school fees. You'll find out a lot of African young people, literally, boys and girls, have to fuck their teachers to get an education because their parents can't afford to educate them. You wonder why a lot of Africans and other people, Indians and other people, move up so fast here. They already have their own cultural Hollywood system to be sexually available to people that will give them an opportunity. So you who is too good for you to say no to an employer, you wonder why they'll put Kamala Harris and Nikki Haley, both women, both Indians, both Brahmins. Actually, she's a Sikh. Nikki Haley, they're outcast from Hinduism, but they've all screwed to get where they are, and they know this. So here, you might want to screw the boss, but you can like get a harassment claim. You can get paid. That doesn't fly a lot of places. If the boss wants some ass, you're either going to get fired, or in India, they may just help themselves. Have a gang, just let's have a gang bang. I asked you nicely, I get you a cup of tea. Right, right. It's, it could be a lot worse here. But let's talk about baby killing. I don't know if you saw the story in China, man and woman, together, and this woman, had children from another relationship, and they threw all the children out the window so they could start afresh. People kill children all over the place. Um, the killing of children among black people is a 50-year process of us killing children because it was made fashionable by black lesbians, black feminists working with white radical racist lesbian feminists. And it's cheapened the value of life. To me, if you can kill a baby after birth, like they do in New York and many other places, they kill over 10,000 babies every year that are born alive and they still kill them. And nothing's done about it. And a disproportionate number of those babies, I suspect, are black. They won't give. The last time I was dealing with this, about say 8, 9 years ago, at least 3,000 children plus are murdered after they've been born alive. And so that's thousands and thousands. If you started counting the babies that are murdered that are born, the murder rate in this country is much higher than what it is. It's acceptable. It's okay. If the mother doesn't want it, certain places, they'll kill the baby for you. Just put it in the closet and let it die. Okay. And they can get organs and so forth. So this is absolutely normal. By the way, let me do a promotion. Uh, I'm Dr. Randy Short. This is the Angry Black Men's Book Club. No thanks to YouTube and Google and whomever. I wasn't able to get on time like I wanted because they were messing with the signal. But I'm here and I want to encourage you to follow Sister Eve on Twitter, to follow me on Twitter. I've got so many different accounts. What is it? Kuna Bomber, Salt Ministry, Angry BMBC 2023. And I also have Dr. Randy Short. That's my Twitter. The YouTube channels are the Angry Black Men's Book Club, Salt with Dr. W. Lancaster, and what's the other one? It's okay. It'll come to me. And of course, the Angry Black Men's Book Club. And if you want to, and we want you to support, we're going to really need people to dig deeper. As Chef C, I'm now working with another journalist, radio and television host, Brother David Lowry in Chicago, where we're going to help them take on the Sanctuary City matter. We're working with Sister Shira, who's going to have her platform hooked up out of Texas. We're looking to work with serious Black bloggers. We have Sister Keisha in Brooklyn, who does thorough Black talk. We're working together to get the word out because it's bigger than any one of us. We're collective. If people are able, and you should, because I do people's platform and folks are just making it rain. They don't even have anything to say. It's not engaging. It's not funny. Like I'm about to do my sang for the day. I never met a feminist that I didn't dislike, which is funny. Or my show topic is don't get angry, get an abortion. Don't you like that? Don't get angry, get an abortion. If you want to support my channel, or channels, because there's so many and you need them because they constantly take them down. I am $ Dr. DrRandyShort, $, Dr. Randy Short. My Patreon is Dr. DrRandy, Dr. Randy Short again. My Zelle, and I have two Zelles. I have Randy L. Short and have I have Randy L. Short, and I have W. Randy Short for Zelle. As well, I have two Cash Apps, but I will just deal with one. And I also have a PayPal, which is W Randy Short. You can hit those up. Every donation matters. When you see all these piles of books, if you wonder what I do with a lot of my donations is invest in our research library. So Sister Eve can tell you if she has a question. I can always pull a book or a title. It's the same thing for Brother Roland, the Negro. Um, all of us have to treat our homes like research institutes and libraries because, they could cut public funding and all the libraries would close. What would you do if you couldn't get access to information? They can shut the internet down where you couldn't just go and look. You need to be thinking about the fact as you have these fascist Democrats, you may find that you're losing freedom of speech and lack of sound information. And that's one of the reasons you should support us because we bring it like it needs to be brought. And we're bringing it with an ethical thing. As much as I can't stand this asshole Charlie Kirk, we're not out here preaching hatred against anybody. We're not out here encouraging violence against anybody, but we do call people when they're on bullshit. So again, if you like me, the Angry Black Men's Book Club, Salt Ministry, check us out. And that's my other YouTube channel, Salt Ministry. Uh, you'll love it. I mean, we did two really good ones, and we're going to do more. This Sabbath coming, we're going after traitor black bootleg leadership according to the Word of God. The last two sermons was loose dicks sink ships. Don't you like that? Loose dicks sink ships. And the other one is if it's your come, you're the one. And so, if I've offended anyone, yes, I think abortion is murder. There's only two sexes, male and female. Gender is bullshit. Trans is bullshit. Those are drag queens, whether you've hacked your stuff off or not. Biden's an idiot. He's a moron. Donald Trump won. Mandated medicine is killing everybody. Nobody to talk about it. If you're offended, I mean, get used to it. We aim to be politically incorrect. Racism exists, but so does black self hatred and black self defeating behavior. Uh, Feminism is toxic, but so is asshole, fagonist, pussy worshiping, backstabbing brotherfucker men. That's how we carry it on our conversations. We're holding everybody accountable. So when you come and listen to us, Charlie Kirk is Republican. Fuck him. Okay, I don't care what your party is. If you're wrong, you're no good. I might be a Christian, but you don't have the right to exterminate people in Gaza. Okay, I might be a Christian, but it bothers me if they're doing genocide on people in Sudan. You get where I'm coming from? That's how we roll it. That's how we roll it here. So support.
They're gonna have to get used to it for sure.
Support. So, and we're gonna do the Sister Eve's got two shows. What you do Wednesday, and and one other. So you're doing something with Dr. Winters. We are trying to get people to think. Everybody's welcome to listen and participate. And of course, we do Pat Talk, where I think we're the first black patriarchal anti-feminist show on YouTube, and they can't stand it, and it's only going to get bigger. So if you want to be a patriarch, you can join up with us. And you might be mannish looking but still want to get screwed like a woman, you should hang with patriarchs. We can help you. And if you just hate feminism or think that pro sports is a bunch of rigged bullshit, you should just hang with us as we talk about baby killing. And we are for women's rights. Women must have property rights. Women must have fair pay for the work that they do. Women must be allowed to vote and participate, and women must be protected from that percentage of black men, black and white and every other kind of men that are women killers. There's scientific studies that there's a type of man per 100,000 that is just violent against women. Women must be protected, so must children be protected. Rape is a problem, but so is false accusations of rape. We want women to still be protected wherever they need to be, but where the playing field is even, women shouldn't be given an advantage based on sex except for where it's necessary. For example, women might need more time in the restroom. Hell, you got more stuff to dig in to clean out when you piss. Whew. The funkiest restrooms I've ever done in women's. I mean, it feels good, but it smells horrible sometimes. Y'all work on that. Oh, I love Lysol. Women might need more time in the restroom. Women may need more time off work. Women's hours might have to change because they're taking care of everybody. And in fact, a whole bunch of men like having sex in the morning. Well, then let women get to work 15 minutes late. They made somebody happy. There's not going to be a mass shooting because someone got a blowjob or got the sex of a lifetime. We should work with women and not against women, and vice versa. Women should work with men. We are nothing without the other sex. Men are just wet dreams and complaints, and I don't know, smegma mixed in with your testicle hair. And women are blood clots and heat flashes without men. We need each other. Okay, that's where I'm coming from. Uh, and yes, heteronormative thought is the only thought. That's why it's normative. All right. I think we've offended some people. Great. I'm gonna see how long I keep this channel.
Yeah, you've got some angry people in your chat. I think that's hilarious because they're still tuning in. So thank you for tuning in to.
Oh, look at and wait a second, Winslow. Look at her. Nope. I live with my mother, bitch. Let me take her out. There's ha 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 ha. What does she know? I got mine in first. So
she don't know anything.
Bye, stud.
There you go.
Mommy issues. Hold on. I'm a mama's boy. So stupid.
That is funny.
Stupid. And by the way, it's interesting. Any man that criticizes women has a problem, but anything women say about men is gospel truth. And that's feminism. That's why I hate it. And yes, I hate feminism. And for that stud that's mad, we're gonna keep doing these shows. Pretty soon, you're gonna think Kevin Samuels is Jesus because people like Mr. Sperling, they're way harder than me. My God. There's a movement. There's a movement. We're never gonna go back to the old feminism anymore. Kevin Samuels is a risen relationship savior. And so we're not sorry. I don't care what feminists think. If you're feminist, I consider that you're half cocked. Basically, I define they're different sorts, but they're male bitches like a fagonist, and then there are female bitches. A female bitch is an asshole with a pussy. A fagonist is an asshole who wish he had a pussy. So there are two types of bitches. Mm-hmm.
I gotta cut you real quick. Because Kush came up, and we do want the Wazies to speak. And
yes, go for it. Go for it. Let me. Hey, I can take. I can coast and be trifling. That's fine with me. I could put my shades on.
Get those trolls out your chat. That is crazy.
Oh, that's okay.
And Nico on code. Why are you having a female on the Angry Black Man's Book Club? Fuck you. How about that?
No, she wished she could fuck you. You're a woman.
Right.
And we picked the title for the club to make you guys mad. We're tired of playing these juvenile games where the men have to walk on eggshells. I don't have a vagina. I have to think about everything I say. Hell no. Stud, we're gonna talk. I mean, in fact, and if you don't like us, all of these migrants that are coming here raping and kidnapping women, y'all gonna encounter some real sexism, you intersectional idiots.
Mm-hmm. And my name's gonna be West Paul Bennett. I ain't in that mess. That's between y'all, and I ain't in it. That's really gonna be how I feel about the actions that they get from these illegals trying to take over everything.
But no, the illegals have taken over, and they are sex trafficking and everything. Someone's got to screw the 7 million guys that have come in recently, and if they don't have jobs, they're going to need it free. And so, so much for intersectionality for all of these ladies that wanted to undermine the work market for men, the jobs that a lot of men work, construction, they're being driven out. So enjoy your impunity. Feminism is finished. It's going to flush down the sewers.
That part, and we're gonna take pride in killing it. Kush, I know you got to get to work since I know you've been up for a minute. I appreciate your patience, and I do want to hear, what you have to say on the topic, and then anything else that you wanted to offer to the space, because you have some wonderful thoughts to add.
Well, thank you. First of all, peace, power, and reparations to everybody sitting in the room. Thank you for allowing me to speak. Look, the fact of the matter is, right, women kill more babies, right? Super Bowl Sunday. Look, I'm going to say this. I think abortion has always been, first of all, a white woman's issue. White women have access to private health care, and they're able to get private abortions where black women are not. Now, I am going to also say this. Feminism is a big ass issue in the black American community, because you have women out there that will do anything to try to manipulate a situation just to make the other person look bad without taking accountability. And women will do that. I don't deal with women like that. I generally have a tendency to hang around women that are wives that can take accountability and can be honest when they're wrong. Using a child as a crutch, right, to get to a man and play with a man's heartstrings is one of the most disgusting things you can ever do. That's what you can do. That is the most disgusting thing that you can ever do. And I think it's really deplorable. Black women, unfortunately, have fallen prey to this feminism aspect because it looks on the other side that it's beneficial when in our reality it's not. I can never be a feminist and be married to a black man. I cannot do that. That's not fair. If anything else, I think it's disrespectful and it's completely hypocritical to the plight of saying, we all support nuclear black families and you want to be a feminist. It's crazy to me. I think women who are also feminists, outside of them having deplorable actions, I think that they forget, first of all, where those abortion clinics, who started those abortion clinics and put them in the neighborhoods. When I hear feminism that says you're an anti-black American man, to me, that means you're an anti-black American family. That's what I hear when I hear that. And when I hear that says you're an enemy to me. I can never do business with you and I can't work with you with that outlook. I give my husband the most respect ever, and I would never call him anything less than that. And it sets the tone in the household. At the end of the day, he has the final say so. That'll never change. And I'm okay with that. I don't have an issue being submissive to my husband, and I don't have that issue because he's able to provide and he's able to do what he needs to do, and he stays in his masculine role. As long as I stay in my feminine role, he'll stay in his masculine role, and it's always worked out for the better for our family. White women, I feel that white women, honestly, with the fact that they're able to have access to private health care, I do believe that white women kill more babies more than anything else. And even in the example of even the Chinese couple throwing out their toddler out of the window, I mean, like, look, let's just be real. We already know who that came from. That didn't come from us. It never was an issue with us until they started intentionally targeting us and trying to use sabotage to get to our families. And it's always been an issue. And I want black women to stop having that mindset. Okay, you can't raise a black son. You don't have the equipment to raise a black son into a man. You don't. You got to get out of that. That's what their father is there for. And their father has a right to be able to play a role, an adequate, proper role in their lives. Okay, like dead ass. I don't like when women sit up here and say, I don't like black men, I don't like black men. But motherfucker, you're the daughter of a black man. You're probably a sister of a black man. And I can never look at my own family as my enemy. I can never do that. I don't care what is going on. Like, it's crazy to me. I think that's really all I had to say for now.
No, Kush, I appreciate that because black women who have a husband, they try to act like we're not out there, just off rip. We're not special enough to have a man to want to lead us, right? So then when we're out here existing and doing the damn thing, I think that those thoughts should be put out there. People should know that we are capable of existing in functional hetero relationships. You know, it's not just angry Black woman beating up on her man, or angry Black man beating up on his woman, or anything like that. You know, we can function the way we're supposed to. That's how we're supposed to.
That's right.
But then you enter in feminism and people saying that masculinity is toxic, and you know, we've got to accept these things that don't make sense. And I think that all of that comes from, you know, them people, right? The system that we live in, and the fact that we haven't solved that problem yet. And inside of that one big problem, we got all these other little problems, like baby killing and trying to hold us to other people's standards. The Negro Black Knights, he shared about the Indian giving their children away, basically, or at least sending their children to go be trafficked because of a quote unquote better life. And that's kind of wild. I always thought that a better life would be that the child exists with their family. You know, you wouldn't be sending your kid to any random country for a better life.
What about Thailand?
Because what could happen? I mean, because this shit is wild to me. And then Dr. Shore, you talking about people throwing babies off of balconies because they want to start fresh, but they got us as the poster child for killing babies. That's wild to me. That people need to be more like Kush and remember that it comes from Margaret Sanger. You know, the Planned Parenthood comes from them people. And for your entertainment, I guess it's in the jumbo. There was this melanated woman talking about abortion. I threw it in the jumbo, and I think trying to normalize abortion is wild, but then I think that trying to put a black face on it is even wilder. But then you look at it, and it's not even us, right? It's a fucking tether who's married to a damn zaddy person or whatever, and I'm like, yeah,
Judas
if you watch the video.
It's a Judas goat. Judas goat. You talk about that Planned Parenthood thing where the woman looks like Eddie Murphy became a trans to do a new Clump movie. The woman from Planned Parenthood. And you know, Thailand, think about all the people that sell their daughters into prostitution in Thailand and in other places. And sell their boys into male prostitution in Afghanistan and in Pakistan. I want to talk about black families. Give me a break.
That's real. I mean, just the fact that their men treat them so fucked up, and then they come over here and try to tell us how we're supposed to be acting. Man, I know probably 10 black women who probably would have been stoned or a head chopped off or a hand chopped off if they were in one of these other countries where the men don't rock with their women like that. You know, I guess you could say that they do because they got standards and they uphold systems and they're trying to make it so that, you know, you don't do anything outside of the system that's already in place. But those people are fleeing from those places. I mean, on the wings of airplanes sometimes, on the hoods of cars. I've seen Africans in storage compartments of Subarus.
Did you see the Africans on the rudder of the cargo ship that drank salt water all the way across the Atlantic to America? I mean, they were drinking. You're talking about I'd rather drink muddy water. They'd rather drink salty water than stay in Africa. For all the old boomer, liar, silent generation Pan-Africanists telling you we've got to go to Africa. And I was talking to an African this morning, trying to explain to him how dangerous it is to just take a plane to Nicaragua and come up through Mexico. They're going to start shooting and killing people down there, if y'all don't believe me. But those folks are willing to die to come here and replace us. And we have all these liar, retread, no good Pan-Africanist frauds telling us that we all just need to get out and leave. I'm not saying not to have relationships. As I think you know, I have a new project to work with people in Nigeria. I have an existing project helping, and have no problem working with people, trying to help a family that's from Sudan that's fled genocide that's in Egypt. Have no problem helping people, but us here first. Be one. You get what I'm saying? And these people need to get the hell out of our face. In particular, our older black people are really, really shallow, and if you're like freeze dried on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, listening to Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech, and he wasn't even going to give that damn speech, Mahalia Jackson had to interrupt his ass at the podium because people were falling asleep on Dr. King. Maybe his girlfriends found him fascinating, but the audience on August 28th, 1963, the way he started off, people were like, where's this guy coming from? So he had to put the tremolo in and put that pulpit Mac on. But there people think that wasn't even the speech he planned to give. Okay, so all those folks caught up in this kumbaya bullshit, that's not real.
Dr. Short, I don't know what happened to your mic because I see you still talking on YouTube, but I don't hear you.
Oh no, it cut. Look, remember I told you I switched. It cut me off. I noticed it went blank. So I had to tap it. So we must really be doing something when they bother with your signal and bother this and cut off that. And folks say, "Oh, this is just right." That's even more reason. If we're making the system mad, that's why you should send us a donation. We're irritating someone. If all of us irritated the system, it would be forced to change. So y'all know how to bless us. Sister Eve, you need to shout out. What's your damn Cash App, baby?
Is Just Eve 03 on Cash App.
Just Eve 03. Send this woman some money. We're out here for all of you folks that are pro-life, and I'm a pro-life Christian.
Dr. Short, real quick, Melinda Lincoln in your chat was asking questions. What is this about? Can you tell me what this show is about? Melinda, the damn title is on the program. But I asked you if it was a baby killer because you came in acting like somebody who don't know how to read. So
well, yeah, the point is that I call my segment is called Don't Get Angry, Get an Abortion. Because that's what people are doing. They're killing children. People are doing things because they want to hurt people. By the way, there are two good books for people who want to have this book, Black Men and Divorce. It's a real good book. It's a very good book. I'm going to be reading from this. Because we had an issue like YouTube messes with our subscribers and does a lot of things, we decided to get our subscriber numbers up because they were making us drag. So we had to change the content. So I hadn't done the books as much because, we compete with, and this is a really good book, The Negro Project. This little stud on the front is Margaret Sanger, who is a mentor to Adolf Hitler. She was actually friends with the Boule. She was friends to Mary McLeod Bethune, who, my God, I mean, I wouldn't want a child look like her. I would probably, I'd be like on my prayer rug praying about, how I don't want my child to look like Mary McLeod Bethune. But the Boule and all of our so-called Black leadership in particular, and the AME Church, or as I say, the Gay AME Church, support all this bullshit. And we need to have a cultural revolution in the Black community against no good, filthy, degenerate leadership, civil societies, civil rights people, religious leadership. All of them are scum. And that's where this is going on. And a lot of the violence against children is based on women retaliating against the father. And this happens a lot. And this is what's going on, and it's got to stop. And again, the attitude is don't get angry, get an abortion. And that means even after the baby is born, kill it, show the father who's got the power. And this is wrong.
Let's talk about that, though, because what angered me earlier was when you sent me the article of Mariah Thompson from Missouri, who, quote, accidentally put her baby in the oven.
Yeah, well, she's in the show me state, so she sure showed you how she felt about that baby.
Oh, look, so I did a little bit of digging, and I really hate that mental illness in our community is not treated with care, because, you know, white people do really bad shit, and then they just blame it on mental illness. But then we actually have real people who are really out here with real issues in their brain. In a few articles, it said that the girl had the mindset of a child. And I'm like, okay, so maybe that's why she lives at home with her parents. But then I'm like, well, why are her parents leaving her at home with this baby? Like, nothing was making sense except for the fact that there's some mental issues going on in that home. Mm-hmm. And then from there, I don't know that she needs to be, she needs help. That's what I'm trying to say.
Can I go somewhere? Yeah, because this is why I talk about this stuff, and this is why I don't give two damns about how people feel. You know, I lived just a few hours from St. Louis, Missouri. I lived in Tennessee and all over the South, Mississippi and other places. And this is a subject that's going to be unpleasant for people, but I'm going to in fact, I had the situation today, which was mind blowing. I've been working on a person's genealogical work for months, and I thought I was going to talk to them this morning too. And by the way, Marcia Byram, you're right. The parents are crazy. That's where I'm going. And I had taken all this time because I was told one of the great grandparents' last name was Harrington. I spent all this time, hours doing all the pulling up the records and all to make this family tree branch. Only to go back and check my work and find out that you had two people from the same small southern town with the same last name. Are you hearing me, sister? They're from a little teeny tiny town called Americus, Georgia. And everybody has the same two people from the same small black section of a small town get married. Are you getting me? And I got family in Georgia, and it's the same in a lot of places. You have a lot of black folks that have often married brothers, sisters, and close cousins. There's a lot of incest and deviance in certain pockets of Black America, and it contributes to mental illness. So you can go to certain places. I'm going to say where I was, Jackson, Tennessee. There are a whole lot of black folks on SSI. They got crazy checks. And part of what's going on with this nasty, despicable hip hop culture, which I hate, when these guys screw a lot of women in the same public housing project or the same community, and the woman screwing lots of different men, their children who don't know who the fathers are often hook up with their sisters and brothers. And since the black men are on to just get that pussy, man, she like you. You better get that, right? We have a lot of black brothers and sisters and first cousins fucking because their parents fucked. Not lovemaking, not family building, but all of this loose, degenerate, perverse fucking. And people breed like, actually, they don't breed like animals because animals breed intelligently. So we have a lot of inbred black kids who are the products of bastardy and a whore slut, loose limp dick player, baller culture. And no one's talked about it. That's where a lot of this craziness comes from people being too closely related when they have sex. The sister mentioned this. A lot of black folks get into little cults and this stuff goes on. We have a whole lot of stuff that encourages pedophilia. A lot of stuff that encourages incest. I've done genealogy, and this one guy, I just couldn't find anything on his mother. Turns out his grandfather is his father and his grandfather at the same time. Are you understanding me? And we have a culture. See, this is why I used to be a feminist, Sister Eve. If the feminists were decent, I thought feminists were for women's empowerment because women need money and power and shelter and shouldn't have to be dependent if the men are unreliable. That right? That's where my head was until I learned they hate the family. They hate women. They hate men. They hate the unborn. They don't want men and women households. I mean, I felt so stupid. Why didn't I see that? I was so caught up in the narrative of women being victimized. Some are, many are not. But I've seen this even when I do genealogy. A lot of folks can't find anything. And getting back to this person whose family I was working on, you have a man and a woman from the same teeny tiny piss poor place in Georgia with the same last name. And there's all kinds of confusion in the family. You understanding me? And there's a lie about what the last name was to cover so these people could be close in screwing each other. I've seen the same thing in a branch of my family where folks marry close in, and so it's awful. My great uncle's niece, he didn't even know she was his niece. She wanted him so bad she married her own uncle. Are you hearing me? They had a baby. I didn't even know this until I went to the archives and found out my great uncle, who I had heard was a bachelor all of his life. And then I learned he had a child and they were so closely related, the baby died. When he found out she was his niece, he had the marriage annulled. And I did speak to my cousin once when I explained to her that we were related because her mother lied. And I'm going to just say this, there's a culture of intense lying that goes on in the Black community. And many times it's the women doing all the lying to keep secrets. Like you go to church and the women with all the chin hair and the big raisin sized moles around their eyes and all that. Uh, they may be on a walker now, but they were hoes. Then they come to the Lord because, there's too much blubber on their arm for them to do the jerk and such. They then act like saints and everybody covers things up. We've had a lot of debaucherous, licentious behavior. Once people left the small towns, the South got wild in the cities. It was already wild down South. Um, and so you have generations of people who have been the victims of pedophilia, inbreeding, and that's why you have a lot of insane Black folks, and no one talks about it because it makes people uncomfortable. And I have relatives that don't talk to me. Great, I talk about this shit. Please keep your sick asses away from me. I'm not inbred. And and so mental illness points to many times when it runs in families the sins of the parents and grandparents. Like people in one of my families down south had the same last name, changed the spelling. The name is Sellers, Zellers. Well, they've made it ARS. We're not in the same family. You spell yours with an A, I spell with an E when they're cousins. Because people, I'm telling you, some greedy, pathetic people who will do anything to screw someone instead of thinking that sex is serious business. It's not a joke. It's not just busting a nut. And so a lot of our Black music and everything and twerking just trivializes sex as if it's just some random thing. And we have a lot of things: suicide, STDs, crime, and confusion because people treat sex like it's recreation. It's spiritual, it's a serious matter. And I'm not saying people shouldn't have, but it's sort of like owning a gun. If you're not careful, you can have the best gun in the world. If you don't know what to do with your gun, someone could get hurt. If you don't keep the safety on, if you point it at the wrong person, if you don't unload it, someone can get hurt. And it isn't so much the gun, it's the user. It isn't your genitalia, it's how you're using it. It isn't the sex drive, it's how you apply it. And that contributes a lot to craziness. So all over the country, you go to Mississippi and all these other places, you've got whole communities on SSI, especially in public housing areas, where you have a guy screw the whole community. He'll fuck everybody in the building. Or they'll have churches and the man fucks all the people in the church, all the kids are his. And if the mothers and nobody talks about, then the kids hook up with each other. In fact, it used to be that the older black women kept tabs on whose kids were by whom. Now, in order to give women, because it used to be shaming when you made women name the father and be accountable for who you slept with, in order to liberate and empower women, well, she shouldn't just give her the benefits. That child has to eat. Uh, you know, we've allowed this. A lot of this is to protect women in the wrong. In fact, it's empowered women to make stupid decisions about sex because there's no consequence. You got with the dumb guy who knocked you up back in the day, you had your reputation ruined. Now with abortion, birth control, and all this laxity, it's commonplace. 4 and 5 and 6 kids by different men. And our community's morals have fallen off so badly until no one deals with it. And the woman can hate 2 of the kids and love the other 3 because she liked those daddies but hated the others. And the dad she hates the most, she wants to take care of the other 6 to punish his ass because she knows he doesn't have enough to help anyone but the one kid he's got. All of this contributes to a culture of confusion and craziness. And I'm going to say something else about black men being reckless with who they bust a nut in. They're so proud they, got their jizz on. And they dropped a seed. They got some ass. I fucked someone. As I was saying in my sermon the other day, Eleanor Fagan, aka Billie Holiday's father, when she actually caught up with him in New York, when she began her singing career, when friends asked of her father, "What's this little girl? What's this?" And he said, "It's a little something I stole. It's a little something I stole." And so there's a reckless, degenerate, pathetic attitude towards children, towards sex, towards the opposite sex. It goes both ways. And we as a people, as a society, suffer. Um, the church folks used to have a song saying, that God was a mind fixer and a heart regulator. A people without morals, a people without principles, without foundations that are godly and holy, will have these issues. And you can have all the mental health care you want. Mental health is secular. A lot of the stuff that people are depressed about is stupid decisions, resentments, because you're drinking, because you're drugging, because you're whoring, you're studying, you're dyking. And by the way, when you sleep with lots of people, it's spiritual. Okay. You're taking in that person's body fluids and you're also getting yoked to them. And you may have a crazy person sleep with you. There's certain people who hate each other but enjoyed the sex act they had together. I mean, hate the person when they're standing up, but when they're laying down, they were hooked up. And imagine people that's at, these booty calls and all where people don't really like you, but man, are you great in bed? I hate your guts. This situation is commonplace. And so children born of, like stories I've heard where the girls making a sperm milkshake take about 8 different guys load of sperm. They don't know who the baby is. All right. Guys don't care. I mean, so 2 of y'all had sex with the girl. You got twins. One is yours, one's the other person. Part of this is our choices. Aside from the structural, systemic, institutional racism that will drive us crazy, choices that we're making. And so you can have all the mental health intervention you want. I worked in mental health hospital, and I will tell you this story, and I'll shut up. My parents used to volunteer with St. Elizabeth Hospital. Mental health was a hustle. My parents would go in and pray with and talk to people. So many people left the mental hospital when we went the last time 50 years ago this December. 50 years ago this December. They called the police and threatened to have my parents arrested for false medical practice. All they would do is go in and talk to people, and people would get themselves together and check out. They wanted the people crazy to keep them on prescriptions to keep the hospitals full. So we can't fully trust the mental health establishment to treat people because psychiatry is bankrupt and a lot of psychology is bankrupt. And it's all about pushing psychotropic pills and drugs, which causes suicide and other mental problems and psychosis. And a lot of these mass shooters and other people, I bet you the woman that put the baby in the oven is on something before we get all mad at her. They over medicate people. I don't know if you remember the guy who used to do True Power is Mine. Do you remember him, Eve? The one who killed himself over his white wife who made a video of her screwing some thug?
Right.
Okay, they forced him after he had his fight with his wife to take very dangerous drugs. The drugs that they forced him to take, otherwise he'd have to go to jail, drove him to the suicide. So just saying mental health, mental health, mental health, mental health, the whole society is saying mental health. They're not thinking about Black people getting their act together, sister. They're thinking about selling pharmaceuticals like they want to sell shots. I'm not saying that medicines don't help some people, but everybody doesn't need medications. Our food is poison. Our water is poison. A whole bunch of Black folks. Let me tell you something, and I'll stop after this. Fluoride in the water makes people crazy. Fluoride is the filler in many of the psychotropic drugs that the mental health people give out. Fluoride messes up your brain, and it's in the water, and it's in higher doses where we Black people live. And fluoride, as a metal, hooks up with what? Lead. Black people have twice the absorption of fluoride as white people. So Blacks are often the victims of mass lead poisoning. And every city in this country, Blacks are being lead poisoned. Not one fucking Black member of Congress, not one of these nigger bishops, nobody Black with any influence will say anything about the mass poisoning of Black people, the mass mental health, the violence in our community. It's a significant amount of it is linked to lead poisoning. It's known. When I asked questions about it, what I was told was fluoride in the water and all of that is of military importance to the United States, meaning that the government of America is waging chemical warfare on Black people. It's known. And people like that faggot John Lewis, I went to that bastard's office. We went begging people. This is why you hear me talk about these people. Many of the problems that we have, folks, are caused by traitor Black people. White people are not the main problem. The main problem is us not being real and being proactive and assertive to look out for us. No people look out for another people. That shouldn't be expected. And at the same time, no people should be in public office to impose public policy that oppresses another people. That's the issue that we have to address with the outside. But what happens on the inside, we've got to do that. And so nutrition, why don't we buy organic food from Black farmers? Why do we need the poison food? Because it's grown by white corporations like Monsanto. I mean, we bitch and claim, well, we used to have 30 million acres of land. Well, motherfuckers, then buy from the people with 3 million acres. I mean, in fact, that's why I talk about God so much. The Bible says a double minded man is unstable in all of his ways. We're double minded. We say we want mental health, but we do crazy shit. Look at any Black publication. Look at all your concerts. They're sponsored by the liquor companies, the pharmaceutical companies, the mass incarceration. Everything that hurts us funds the degenerate concerts, the publications. Remember BET? It's still nothing but junk. Nobody's serious advertising. We are being wiped out. So if someone puts a baby in an oven, relatively speaking, as compared to what the bald-headed black lesbian in California that wants children taken away from parents who don't allow their children to have their genitalia and their breasts cut off. And this, what all of this is happening all at one time. It would drive someone crazy, but there are people in positions that could do better. And this is why I hate the feminists so much. It used to be when there were good wazis like you, Sister Eve and Sister Cush. They may have been boule, married church girls, but they were advocates. We had a thing called Negro Health Month. They were fighting against the temperance union to fight with drug stuff to warn people about syphilis. Do you realize that we don't do what we used to do with Jim Crow? And that's what I'm saying. Don't tell me about fucking white people. I want to deal with black people, what we can do. If we got us together, we could deal with the racists. The racists know it, which is why they contribute to our degeneracy. But if we refuse to be degenerate, they couldn't make us. White people are people, and God is God. We don't want God, and we worship white people. Or we worship Arabs. Or we fantasize about Africans being perfect until they get scammed by a Nigerian or get hurt or robbed or some really bad shit happens and they can't praise everything else. It's always run away from reality. We live in a coon Alice in Wonderland world.
That's real. And to the room, if you didn't know, China executed the couple who threw the toddlers out the apartment window. So
okay, CCP. I like him this time. CCP.
Right.
Those are Biden's real employees. That's his advisory panel. That's a real cabinet.
Speaking of Biden's advisory panel, this is a segue and way off topic, but did you read, I posted this a couple days ago, one of his advisory panel was quoted saying that they don't care, that they said, we care more about the vote than we do about getting people to the polls. And it just seems like more of the same shit. Like, how do you care about the vote? But then who's going to vote if they don't come to the polls?
They're going to send the mail-in ballots. Biden got about 70% of the mail-in ballot vote. That's what they're doing. All these illegals are going to fill in ballots all over again.
There you go.
And so, which is why they need to make certain that all the, forgive me, dumb fuck black Democrats vote blindly. Yes, y'all dumb as shit. I said it. In fact, you know that the boule has been receiving all kinds of contracts. The reason that you don't see, what's his name, Swedish meatball-headed Roland Martin and other people talking about how bad things are, it's because Biden's people have been hitting up the boule people. So money has been allocated to the black community, but it's to the elite black people. Like the African governments get money, they don't share with the people. We live in a colonial situation. Our greatest enemies are people like Roland Martin, like blacks in Congress. All these people are oppressors. They're doing more to hurt us than the Klan, the Nazis, even the alt-right. As much as I don't like them, they're not hurting me as much as people that we think are cool. I'll give an example, sister. I was doing advocacy against the Depo shot. By the way, the Depo-Provera shot promotes insanity. That woman could have been on Depo. How about that? A lot of black women put on Depo, and they don't even know that Depo makes women suicidal, depressed, mentally ill. That's the number one drug pushed on black women. It sterilizes, it makes them overweight, all of that. I ran into a guy from the Urban League 10 years ago at an event, and I'd done a white paper, helped do a white paper on Depo. Do you know these people? They wouldn't even talk to you. They couldn't be seen speaking to anyone talking that was in any way favorable towards alternative ways to deal with birth control or helping black women. Literally, the guy saw me, ran. I can't talk to you. I couldn't make him do it. We don't even want to know. That's how weak, despicable, and cowardly and traitorous the people here in DC are. If these jabs killed 99.9% of the black people that you look up to, and they weren't replaced by like-minded people, we'd have a chance to get ourselves together. I no longer look at the shots as a tragedy anymore. I just hope the people that are standing in the way got all of the shots. Like you heard the Secretary of the Army of Defense, he's been hospitalized. He pushed all those shots and bullied all these people, messed up a lot of people. I believe very much that that has something to do with why he's sick. And all the bad black people, I hope y'all took them. Y'all killing us. Something needs to kill you.
That's real talk, Dr. Short, and I appreciate you always being willing to have these uncomfortable conversations because, as it stands, it's a bunch of cowards in our community.
And
right?
grifters, liars, deviants, they're frauds.
Fakers, frauds, and phonies. Where have y'all heard that before? Okay. Anyway, I think that to the topic that we've been talking about for a couple hours, because we're not going to be on here all night. Maybe you'll be on your YouTube a little bit longer, but I'm not going to be in this space all night.
All we're going to say is don't get angry, get an abortion. It's behind why there's so many children being killed. And it's interesting how little intervention there is for the black women who want to have children that are killed or their babies are killed in the hospitals across this country.
Actually,
and there's no outcry from feminists about that. However, man, there's so much, either there's silence when the women kill children, or, oh my God, the abortion clinics are closed. Oh, we've got to open them. Even during COVID. I mean, that's one, but we got to kill those black babies. Go ahead.
That's real. Actually, as I was doing a little research for this topic, because again, my main thing, I wanted to talk about the woman who put the baby in the oven, because I don't know how you accidentally put a baby in the oven.
Maybe she thought she was German.
All day I've been trying to make it make sense. Like, maybe the baby was asleep, and maybe the oven was off. But when you read the report, the baby's clothes were melted into the diaper, which means that she turned the oven on. Like, because there's no way you put a baby in an oven that's already on and it wasn't screaming its head off. So, like, what the fuck? All day, it's just been.
Well, sister, I'm going to add something to this. I have seen this. There was a girl, I think her name was Diane Booz. I don't know how fast or slow she was, but by the time she was about 16, she had 4 or 5 kids. She was in my junior high school. There are a type of black men that prey on slow girls. And I mean, they don't care if it's an open orifice, they're going to penetrate it. So I'm thinking she may have been slow all along, and some dude, man.
That's actually what it said in a few of the articles. It said that she had the mind of a child and that she kind of was slow. But
and but you know what? So that's easy pussy. See, now
Dr. Short, I'm sorry. Let me go. That is a problem because we've got people who were in the slow class, right? Not that everybody on slow class is slow, because they definitely put us in the slow class. But there are actual people out here existing as adults who are not ready for life. And then because they're adults, they can do adult things, right? You're an adult now. You can have sex. That's probably what her parents were saying. You know, like, okay, she's a little slow, but she's not that slow.
No, maybe they gave her the pills and she thought they were sweet tarts and took too many. You know, if she was going to Planned Parenthood, do you know that Planned Parenthood has the cheapest birth control pills, which means if you miss even one day, you can end up pregnant, and because they're selling abortions. I mean, it's to make money, sister. But the problem is, the same way you heard about the black man that was screwing the retarded and elderly people and he got busted. There are people that work with seniors and disabled people and they screw them. You see, we have a culture, not of everybody, of men who will fuck anything, a child, a man, a woman, a beehive, an electric socket. And the thing is, well, he got pussy. And that is celebrated because what these guys don't achieve shit. No money, no job, no house, no car, no education. But, hey, man, I'm baller. I got pussy. And it acts as if that's like walking on Mount Rushmore or going to the top of the Himalayas. I'm not trying to take sex away from people, but reckless, malicious, mendacious behavior around sex with vulnerable women and children, these kinds of men don't catch hell. Okay, so I can tell you I've been in a situation, the guy was talking about this stuff, man. I'm gonna give me some pussy, no, and just talking. God, how many times you gonna talk about pussy? Okay, you got some. And you know what? I says, what age are they? And it got quiet, Eve. And he never spoke to me again, was complaining, which meant that this man fucked children. And these guys, well, we have a culture of sexual predators among a type of no count black men that should be put down. White men have to, everybody have, but we don't deal with that. We'll talk about master raping black women back in the plantation shit. What about nigga doing it? What about black men that are predators on our women, predators on the children? They're predators on men. We celebrate prison rape. And I'll tell you, part of it is power. Well, we feel so powerless relative to white people. Anybody that's dominant, whoever's the one on top, whoever, it's cool. This goes back to, and I don't like it, God, morality, sexual self-control, and discipline. It's lacking in the ranks. And you can't blame white people, even though GCP and these other people make porn to do. Why do we have to fall for everything that other people do? And isn't it interesting how hard you and others of us have to work to be heard by our own sorry ass people? But folks who hate our guts put a message out. If they call black people monkeys, the sale on bananas goes up the next day. It's because our people worship and covet everything from others. They're not happy with who they are. They hate God. They hate one another. They don't respect the sisters. They don't respect the brothers. They don't care about the elderly. They don't care about the young. There's a culture of hate, contempt, and self destruction among many people. And the answer is holiness. Folk have got to get some God, and I'm saying the God of the Bible. I'm like, Jesus, nigga, this is my Bible. Okay. And I got a lot more. I have a whole library full of them. We need it. We've gotten away from anything that held us together. It's pathetic. And I know you got to go. You got just a few more minutes. But look, it doesn't have to be like this. Everyone doesn't have to have 10 different last names in one household. Everyone doesn't have to lose their virginity at 7 and 8. Everyone doesn't have to start taking birth control pills and Depo at 10. Everyone doesn't have to be in a gangbang at 12 and 13. Everyone doesn't have to get AIDS. It's someone wishes for that. And I'm going to tell you, the so-called black leadership in this country that doesn't speak to these issues, it's because they're degenerate. They don't care what happens to the 9/10 of black folks. If you want to see mental health improve in this, you've got to have something better. You'll hear white folks talk about the absence of prayer in school. You don't hear that from black people. I mean, you don't hear folks talking about values. We've spent so much time talking about damn black liberation. Liberation is suicide if you don't have rules, boundaries, and things that modulate and guide you to use your freedom and your liberties properly. You can let a child have the keys to the car and they end up dead, or they hit someone, or they go joyriding. It isn't the driving the car. It isn't access and be able to move around in society, which we should have. But what do we do? I mean, P. Diddy and these other people, it is a disgrace that that dude who looks like rotten broccoli and a sea turtle, Jay-Z, how do such despicable people get to be iconic for us? I don't care about other people. We have to have a standard that is uplifting for us. And white people are not responsible for providing that. Why don't we have it? There's no reason that we can't do it. It's no reason, that we have to have RuPaul and these people out here. There's no reason for this idiot that played Mr. and Rustin, for us to be celebrating him getting an Oscar for playing a man that beats women and a man that's getting screwed in the booty and thinking of I Have a Dream. We have to refuse. We need to have a civil rights movement within our own community. We need to boycott Black self-destruction, Black debasement. We have to stop acting towards self as if we're inferior. Okay, and I don't believe anybody's inferior to anybody else, but you can act like you're less than what you are, which is a human being that should have dignity and integrity that's God-given.
That's real talk. One of the things that I shared in the jumbo that I wanted to bring to your attention, because it happened after we talked earlier today, the song, maybe you've heard it, maybe you haven't heard it. I had never heard it, but apparently it's out there, and it's about, it's called, well, the person who raps it, TNFW Neek, she's got a song about abortion, and BDF, Baby Daddy Free, that's the name of the song, and she got Murder on Her Mind is the hook, and it's just wild. I went to try to find out more information about this chick, because I don't necessarily think when it's a melanated person that it's going to be a Black American, doing it, as much as it could be someone cosplaying as us, but then it's not really a lot of information about her. But I see articles about the empowerment of, owning your body and...
Well, that's Black girl magic, but killing the baby is not your body. And it's interesting, those same people who think killing a baby inside of them is their choice are the same hoes that complain about men getting a passport to screw someone in another country. So it's your body, even if you're killing a baby inside of you, but his dick belongs to you even if you don't want him. I mean, this is confusion. Black girl tragic is what I call it. Nothing. And magic is wicked.
That's real. Speaking of, well, I guess this kind of goes right along with what you were talking about earlier, how Black women can be the face of some fucked up shit, right? So
they are the face. They are the face of it. We've been pleading, don't be the face, because this country's going to swing to the right. And I really do hope, because I have relatives down in Georgia. Their last name is Turner. And there was a Black woman hung from a bridge in Georgia whose last name's Turner. And I'm hoping that there's no connection. Retaliation is coming. And a lot of this, Black men aren't going to be able to do anything because it's already happened. If I wanted my children to turn out okay and I wasn't a Black American from watching TV, I wouldn't want none of mine around Black people. If I didn't know from the inside of this group, I would want nothing to do with us. C. Dolores Tucker, who many people hated, at least another woman I worked with that I loved that loved me, even though she was good boule. And there are some good boule people, as hard as that is to believe. She's Delta Sigma Theta, and she was Bahamian. C. Dolores Tucker tried. She tried. They destroyed her. When I think about the fact I'll be 60 and 364 days, or 63 days, because my birthday was Friday. So y'all can definitely send me a donation at $ Dr. Randy Short. I turned big 59. To think that in so many days, I will be just, in no time, I'll be the same age that C. Dolores Tucker was when she died. They put so much pressure on C. Dolores Tucker that she died of congestive heart failure. They destroyed her. That black woman was destroyed. They don't even talk about her anymore. It sickens me. She was a great woman, a beautiful, wonderful person. I think about her all the time. You know, I have my favorites. I like Wazies, black women that think, that are smart, that do things, that aren't trying to be dudes. I gravitate. I met Mrs. Tucker, and it was friendship at first encounter. And I'll never forget meeting her when I met her in like 1991. And so, wow, how time flies. We've had people try to intervene. We need new black women to put energy into social reform. They've got so many women trying to be men and go into men's spaces. All of this confusion has entered into our community on the watch of liberated black girl magic, pork chop feminist black women who've been out trying to be everything but mothers, wives, sisters. A lot of this is the divestment of black women's energy into the family and domestic sphere, which is what feminists want. In fact, the black women's abandonment of being Medea and Big Mama. Okay, into that vacuum has come all this other stuff, studs and all this other stuff, and licking niggas' ass. All of this, sisters, this is what's come with this empowerment that they're talking about. It's not power, only power to destroy yourself. The only thing the Democrats offer is no fault divorce, abortion, LGBTQ. You can mutilate your genitalia, right? And bring in foreigners that are going to rape you and displace the men in your group from jobs. That's all they offer. And free marijuana. And they find out that marijuana contributes to mental illness. Schizophrenia if you smoke it early. Marijuana does all kinds of stuff. And all these people that's pushed it, Snoop, asshole dog, all these people push nothing but bad things in our community. And ladies, our sisters think if they put you on TV, oh look, my nipple was on the front page. All of this narcissism and degeneracy, it doesn't augur well for us. And when this country swings to the right, you're going to see a lot of black women targeted, like Joy Reid arguing for a book where a man screws a boy in the behind, pedophilia, with the strap on. Why is Joy Reid pushing that? She's a tether with the blonde wig on, looking like a golden marmoset monkey. Actually, Don Cheadle and a golden marmoset monkey had a baby that looked like her. Why? And by the way, you sisters have to go after other women, because when we men criticize, you hate women, you're gay, you got my women are not checking women. Y'all don't hold each other accountable. You guys fail at that. It seems as if the only thing they do is come after men. Women need to start driving in their lane, taking care of women's stuff. Where there's intersection, fine. But it's a failure right now. It's lacking. Not everybody is a good mommy like you, Wazi's sister, Madam Minister of Space, and the Mid-Atlantic Wazi Field Commander and Queen. Not everybody's like you. We need to encourage women to understand that real empowerment is shaping present and future generations, not in leaving it to daycare, leaving it to television, leaving it to this nasty Hollywood and AT hell. These are the people that now raise the children, and look at what we've got.
That's real. I think that at the end of the day, women holding other women accountable, the shit is almost impossible, because we are, I don't want to say allergic to accountability, but I think it's more of we don't want people looking at us. So you start talking about what people are doing that's not the right thing, and then people start talking about what you're not doing, and now we're not actually doing anything because everybody's talking shit about the shit that's not being done. I can appreciate when we have thorough, competent brothers like yourself who can engage and participate in these types of conversations, because it doesn't seem so one-sided. But I get how it shouldn't just be y'all, and how, as it stands right now, it's not really happening on our side of things.
But it is happening. It is growing. It is growing. As much as people hate Kevin Samuels. In fact, that feminists are hijacking Kevin Samuels. They're saying Kevin Samuels is a feminist. You have a bunch of moist, effeminate men on all the spaces on Facebook. Beware of anything with Kevin Samuels' name on it. Not because Kevin Samuels is bad, but these people are trying, same way they made Martin Luther King into a freeze-dried pacifist, white-worshiping preacher. They're now making Kevin Samuels a closet feminist. There's a new awareness. There are women speaking up, and that's why I'm calling on you to call the Wazies. Trust me.
That's what I'm saying, Doctor. Where are they at?
No, well, I've sent you Wazies. I've sent you names. That when I was sending you that stuff, you were doing something else. Just saying, right? Now that you have recalibrated your GPS, gather the sisters, and trust me, men get a turn on. Men get a turn on when they meet serious sisters that are passionate about the community. A lot of dudes just go off when they meet Black women that are not anti-Black and male and not anti-community. It energizes, and it will create a synergy. That's why they've worked so hard to bust us up. The unity that they fear the most isn't Black and brown. It's Black men with Black women. That's the only intersectionality I need, both horizontally and otherwise. Somebody say amen to that.
Amen to that. But look, in your chat right now, Melinda, who I've had some words with, and then I've seen that maybe she agrees with some things and disagrees with some things. And I'm not here for the echo chamber. So, Melinda, I'm not saying that you got to agree with me or anything. What I am saying is that what you just posted in the chat is kind of wild, because you're saying that if women let other women know that what they're doing is wrong, then they would fix it. But I talk to women all the time about their health and how if they want to be around for these children that they keep making, maybe they should do something different. And they don't like hearing stuff like that. So, and that's not even me being mean as much as it's just scientific evidence of your actions and or inaction.
And Sister Eve, let me say this. We can't help everybody. I don't want one person to waste time on people that don't want to do better. But we should focus on young people. As Frederick Douglass said, it is easier to work with young people than to fix broken adults. We are going to lose folks. And like I said, I'm at peace. I'm at peace. I've learned people die. You can't tell them. But we should try to intervene and warn people that are amenable. A lot of folks would do better. I was with my doctor on my birthday, and I had to get my doctor, a white female, straight a couple of times. Normally, I don't say anything. Like, she was in Tanzania, and I was trying to find out where she was in Tanzania, which should have let her know I know something about the country. But, I'm Black, and I go to like a low income place because I'm not high income. And she says, oh, it was close to Arusha. Would you know where that is? And I said to her, I have a PhD in African studies. And she was embarrassed because she did this in front of a doctor in training. I says, no, I haven't been to Tanzania, but I've been to Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, and Congo. More than what she had. Then the other thing, what I said to her is, she says, oh, you're diabetes. I says, no, you have the wrong number. I'm 6.5. And she had to go back and look. Oh, my God, you're doing great. Yeah. I says, I'm not taking your damn pills. And she says, well, you need to understand your better than almost all the patients we have. And I says, well, had someone told me certain things could cause the problems that I had, I would have made the adjustment and not had the health problem. And it's the same. Some people you can talk to and they'll listen. Look for the people who want to be converted and encourage the people that are converted that we need to see a change. Other people are gone. I'm thinking about my cousin who's in some kind of dysfunctional relationship. He had a heart attack, and whoever he was with let him lay around until dead 3 days after he had the heart attack. Um, when he died, they called. And family, highly dysfunctional, jailbird. You know what I'm saying? Uh, what can you do? You can't help. By the way, the Moosey branch, the family, and folk always come and talk about the pork you eat, and this, that, and the other. And some people, even our families, we can't help. But those that we can help, those that you can direct, and stop trying to change people, but always say to people, I told you so you can't say you didn't know. I presented it so you'll never have an excuse for not doing better. You chose what you got versus no one said. I think you want to leave. It's about 9 o'clock. And so we need to do commercials. Can you run down our contacts? Because it's about time for you to go. You got
That's
five,
right. That's
five
right.
children. If they matter, shoot, I want some kids. I mean, I don't know. I hope that my channel does so well I can do a vacation, and I will get me a submissive foreign wife that knows how to cook. But
Look, don't get got like the passport bros have been getting got, Dr. Short.
well, no, a lot of them. No, the passport bros, they're passport hosts and they're passport bros. If a man is going to meet a wife, that's honorable. If you're here to just bust nuts in other places and hang out in the bars, you're scum. You're scum with the passport. If you're there because you genuinely want to form a family and have been disappointed by the options here, that's a different matter. But I mean,
I can't even fault somebody for that because, like I said earlier, sometimes people want to help, and then the people that they're trying to help don't want the help, so it might be easier to.
Well, in the words of Jesus, let the dead bury the dead, and I'm like, yes, sir. If you're fatal, please die. Just not next to me. I don't like flies. Okay. Okay. The people who have
right,
so let's do our donation thing. She is Eve or just Eve? Just Evo 3?
Just Evo 3.
Just Cash App $sign JUSTEVE 03 is her Cash App. Send her a piece. And she's got 5 beautiful children. She's doing it all herself, fixing them organic food and everything. She could use that for some DoorDash on the day that she doesn't want to cook. Send Eve, just Eve, JUSTEVE 03. Send her a piece. Whatever you can send, do it. She has so many fans, it'll add up. So don't be afraid. Send 2 if you've got 2. Send 10 if you've got 10. Send 20 if you feel like it. In fact, $20 divided by what? 5 or 4? That's $4 per child. That's just enough. Don't go to McDonald's with that. But you could probably get something, pack of chicken or something, some veggies with that. So, and her, Just Eve. Tell them your YouTube channel. Do you have a YouTube channel?
I do. It is Just Eve B on God's Chosen People's channel that we're hosting this live on. If you are following Dr. Short, you are following this channel, the Angry Black Man's Book Club, and his Cash App is $sign Dr. Randy Short. I posted that in the jumbo.
Yes. I know that sometimes send us some MFM. And so my greeting to all of that stands for motherfucking money. That is the grassroots way of saying we want reparations. We want land, freedom, justice for us first. And then we can think about helping other people. We've been doing that for a long time. Now it's time to wipe our own asses, and maybe we can help wipe other asses later. I would say for you, please don't vote for Biden. If you hate Trump, at least stay your ass home. As for me, I voted for Trump 3 times. I would do it all over again. I can't stand Charlie Kirk or the fascists on the right, and I hate the fascist racists on the left too. So if y'all don't like me, I'll give you another reason. Donald Trump won, and I'm a Trump supporter. I don't care if you don't like me. I'm gonna keep doing it. Up yours if you don't like it. I like Trump. I like Trump way better than Biden. There was gas, there was food, there were people weren't coming across the border and shit. Um, on top of that, my YouTube channels, Angry Black Men's Book Club, Salt Ministry with Dr. W. Lancaster. Uh, the other one is, oh my God, I have so many. Help me. Oh, Dr. Randy Short. And then I've got Salt Ministry on Twitter. I've got Kuna Bomber. And I have Angry BMBC 2023. Follow me on Twitter. I've got a Patreon, which is Dr. Randy Short. Again, my Cash App is $ Dr. Randy Short. Zelle and PayPal is my Gmail account, which you can write me, and I do respond. That is wrandyshort@gmail. We're going to stop for now. For all of you that fall in the Angry Book Club, please subscribe and like and share. In particular, if there's someone that you know our content would offend, please, like if you know any woman studies experts or people like that, please, I want my best fans are angry feminists. That I get inspired, think about stuff I can say and do to make feminists angry. They will not come and talk to us because we would clown them. Support the channel, like it. You need to know that we're doing really well, and to the point where YouTube takes away subscribers and lies about the numbers. So we're reaching thousands of people. And also know that we always do, for those of you who are religious that like Jesus, and I like Jesus, we have Sabbath sermons on Saturday, typically around 3 o'clock. And right now, our sermon topic, the series is God's Message to Black Americans. And we've done one, Loose Dicks Sink Ships, God Needs Men of Valor, and the other one, If It's Your Come, You're the One. And the next one we're going to talk about no good sellout Black leadership. And I'm trying to think, I'm going to say stop blaming white people, blame the right people. God has all the power. White people are creations just like we are. If we loved and respected each other, other people would be at least forced to respect us, because when you love something, you are protected. We need God, we need land, we need food, we need guns, we need love and solidarity for each other. And of course, we need MFM. On behalf of the Angry Black Men's Book Club, on behalf of Coon Busters, on behalf of Salt Ministry, and the new United Black Media Matrix, I want to wish you a wonderful evening as we sign off. And for you guys, the books, as you see, are stacked up. I have my stuff, but we compete with very shallow competitors that consistently do all the dumb stuff that people like celebrities and police slang. So we had to kind of like mix stuff up to build up our numbers. We're just under 1,000. I'd like for all of my different channels for people to subscribe. It's in the Jumbotron. If I had 50 people sign on to one of my channels, I would be able to put stuff out there too. We will be back on books. I promise to talk about eugenics and racism, and I want to do it. And by the way, I love talking about white racism. It's so much fun. But we got to deal with our internal BS in our community. And so I have to be responsible to tell us, as it says, you're looking at the splinter in your neighbor's eye and you've got a beam in yours. We got a lot of stuff to work on. That's why we had this conversation. Love and peace. May the Lord bless and keep you, make his face shine upon you and give you peace and your goings out and comings in. MFM, everybody, and good night. And for all you brothers, white woman, and for all you sisters, white man. And as much as we don't want each other, let's wish you what you really want. Okay, that's cool. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night.
White woman, and for all you sisters, white man. And as much as we don't want each other, we wish you what you really want. Okay, that's cool. Good night.
To the room, I appreciate y'all joining us tonight. I really try not to have really long spaces, but I'm glad that we were able to hash out some of this stuff. If you didn't participate in the chat, because we definitely were live on YouTube as well on Dr. Short's channel, please follow him, Angry Black Man's Book Club. I think that you will find that conversation engaging as well as this conversation here on Twitter. Like he said, I'm live on Wednesdays with Dr. Winters at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check us out. We are having some very interesting conversations trying to bridge the gap between the generations. I think that those conversations will definitely push us in the right direction.